You're listening to a Lost in the Groove segment.
Having good vibes with your bones and joints. Taking a trip into the groove. American groove into stoner world. Gonna play.
On the way. What I mean by this is they could travel from dimensions. So, like, even though that, like, supposedly the ball just dropped and that's all they saw, and she claims her experience was 18 hours, it could be that ball that she was in. Like, they had this, like, device where it had these rings that kind of, like, rotated, and they created, like, this massive energy. So as the ball is dropping, she's being pushed out of this realm and being pushed into that realm. Maybe in that realm, 18 hours for us is like 28 seconds.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, well, anything's possible, you know. I think it's cool how we all, like, feel like we know. We're like, what
I'm not
about...
saying that we know. I'm just saying that idea. You know, I don't know if it's real, but
Do you think, like, wherever they live, it's, like, so much fucking better that, like, they don't even care about what we're doing here? Like, they do a little, but, like, not really. And then
well,
I also like the idea of, like, you know, like, what if it's, like, not... Okay, so, like, let's say there's, like, a whole, like, alien, like, world, okay? And there's, like, a country, aka whatever they call it in their situation.
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar. And
Zanzibar. Yeah.
Zanzibar is, like,
Zanzibar.
the governing city. And they make all the rules and shit. And they've got all the, like, you know, airplanes or spaceships, and they fly them to different places and whatever else. What's not to say that, like, some fucktard out of the bunch decided that they were gonna fly off to another place and start fucking with people? You know, like, I'm not saying that, like, how do you know that it's the person in charge that made the decisions? Like, it could always be, like, a rogue person that's just, like, on their own. Because it always seems strange to me that, like, the aliens affect us in, like, small numbers. Like, they'll come in, like, a little ship, or, like, 2 aliens, or, like, you know, like, it's always odd to me that it's, like,
They like
why
the
isn't it, like...
compact, you know, the compact SUV, honey. Like, the shit you get from Alamo for $49.99. Okay? It's not near the airport. It's not near the airport. You got to do a little bit of walking, but it's $49.99 per day.
I don't know. I mean, and it's interesting too how, like, we always, like, throw around this idea of, like, the mothership, but, like, no one has ever said anything like that. Like, it's always just been, like, one, like, individual ship, but it's in, like, tons of different movies that there's, like, a giant
mothership.
motherfucking ship.
Yeah, I mean, particularly with Close Encounters. The reason why, like I said, because, like, I kind of got into this thing, like, I just started renting movies, and I rented those too.
I love that.
Yeah, and I kind of enjoyed Contact more than I did Close Encounters, but, like, what is interesting is, like, it's possible that other forms of intelligence may have the same thought of, are we alone in this universe? And they may have other forms of communication that we're not familiar to. Or they may live in parallel universes to ours.
You love that.
Yeah. Because
I don't like the idea of it, you know?
I know, like, because it's like, churchy and God. It's, like, very, like, atheistic and non-believer.
I genuinely just can't picture it. Like, to me, it seems illogical. Not so much that it's not Christian, it just kind of... I don't know. I don't see the two things happening at once. I've always been a believer that once you go down one timeline, the other one ceased to exist because you didn't go down it, so it's not being created anymore.
When you go in front of a mirror.
It's not about
Okay.
religion, though, David. I really just don't think it makes
No,
sense.
okay. I gave this example once before. If you go in front of a mirror, what you're seeing is a two-dimensional image of yourself. So in and itself, it's a replication. We live in what's called fourth? No. Yeah, we're in the fourth dimension. But within the fourth dimension, there is the third dimension. Within the third dimension, there is a second dimension. Within our own realities, there are parallel parts to those. So
Well,
I don't disagree with you, but I
well,
don't
yeah, but
totally
those are
agree with you.
those are perspectives.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to call a perspective a timeline, I mean, that's
Well,
not the word for timeline, but you could.
it could almost be the opposite side of the mirror, where
There's no
it's
opposite side. It's just a reflection.
no. I'm saying, okay. What I say by opposite side of the mirror
The mirror
is
doesn't have functioning eyeballs. You do. It doesn't look back at you. It doesn't have eyeballs that interpret. It's just a reflection of you.
I know that I'm just using that as an analogy. I'm not saying an actual physical, like,
But I
mirror.
feel like people don't think that. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Okay. Better way of putting it. Whenever you've obviously been to lakes before, right? Okay. There's a point of where you can look at a lake that's pretty still, and you can see the reflection of whatever is on the other side. And you're correct. That is completely a reflection. What I was getting at, particularly with alien species, it's almost where we live in the realm that physically sees that other side. Where the water is, there may be another gateway or pathway to another place. So it's like almost it's in our universe. But it's like
Louis.
almost like it's kind of like you have to access it because it's on the other side.
There's
I'm not saying that
definitely
yeah.
there's definitely like a physical, you know, like I told you that one time I did mushrooms and I saw like the visible layers of light as if they're
Yeah.
like material.
Yeah.
So I have seen something that kind of makes that sound right. Like I kind of, yeah, there is like
It's
you're
not
like
necessary.
you're
It's not
reaching through
necessary.
it right now. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's an energy.
Force
Yeah,
or
it is.
field.
It's 4-dimensional. It's true. It is. I don't know. When I was there in that headspace and I saw that stuff, I didn't try to figure out too much of it. I just admired its beauty. I didn't be like, wait, well, what does all this mean? So I don't know, but I did discover that there was more than what I knew. Louis wants my food.
Damn. No, it's just like it. It's one of those things where I heard this from a scientist, and I think this is the most like incredible way of putting this. She said that we have only explored 5% of our own oceans. She said if you took a 12-liter, 12-ounce glass and filled it up with water,
No,
and you
because
see no
the
fish in
ocean's
there.
so deep.
Yeah. She's like, you don't see any fish in there. Does that mean that there's no fish in the ocean? No. Obviously there is. You've just taken out a very small part of it and checked it. You know, our understanding is very limited. It's almost to the point that like we can only understand what we already understand. It's that simple. Like, literally.
Well, I just
We
think it's
can't
weird
comprehend things we don't understand. We just
that
don't.
aliens would like abduct people. Like they want to like abduct someone. I don't know. And then ET's like a whole other idea where it's like the alien just got like straight up dropped off, you know, and he's like kind of almost like stranded.
Yeah, and he's kind of, I mean, he's kind of adorable, kind of not, kind of freaky, kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know how they got away with that.
Yeah, and it was
I
like,
don't think I was alive when ET came out. I think it was 1984. But ET was really popular as I was like growing up, and everybody loved him. And my sisters used to love to take me and put me like in a hoodie and wrap me up and put me in like the basket and like ride around and act like I was ET, you know? Because I was the little baby
E.T.
sister. And they would make
Yeah.
me say that and like put my finger out and stuff. They
Oh my
loved it.
god. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
They used to make me act like ET.
Oh my god. What we live for. But you know, I think Louis sees an alien.
You know, I'm scared because I can't.
Chris, are
hear
you being
anything.
abducted right now?
I'm
Like, are there
listening.
aliens entering your room? Like, no. Oh my god.
It's probably
Chris is
just,
officially
like,
getting abducted.
Your voice through the headphone, but he is quite distracting, isn't he?
Well, he can be distracting, but he's just darn adorable. But back to aliens, all right?
I feel like
They're
that
real.
Men in
They're
Black
definitely
movie was
real.
really popular when I was a kid too.
I think also, like, there is this bit of understanding where it's possible that just like us, they may research other planets for information. And whether we may consider ourselves intelligent, to other alien species, we may not be considered intelligent. They may view us the same way we view buffalo and cow. You know,
Well,
they
because
don't
some of
view
us are quite.
But
Some humans are pretty rough, dude. Like I've met frat bros. Some frat bros are dumb as fuck.
Yeah, bro. They be on 5% like 365 days a year.
Like they might as well be a cow.
Yeah.
And some women? Have you seen some women? Some women are dumb as fuck. You know? God.
It's also, I've noticed something too. A lot of women today, particularly for even myself, there's like a lot of vulnerability, but to the point like they're willing to throw themselves out there. It's like we as a society keep on forgetting we're human beings. We're technically animals. Like, we've done really incredible things and we're intelligent, but I don't know if other species or things see us that way. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, if I was a super being and I looked at humans, I'd be like,
it's always like our second podcast where I'm like, I need the snack. I've, all the goodies have hit my system and I'm like, I need it much. Okay, I'm muting so that I can blow my nose because it's allergy season.
okay, enjoy. But that was a kind of thing. We're all about the artist. That is the whole purpose of this podcast, period. And you have a really valuable tool. You can share this with artists, people that are creative, someone that can enjoy this podcast and really enjoy the experience of Lost in the Groove. So, with that, let's jump back to today's episode, shall we? I found kind of interesting too is where you have a lot of these different stories and told from like different narratives. Like, I've told you this before, like one of my favorite sci-fi films is Alien. I love Alien. Like, cannot watch that movie at night unless there is a nightlight on or some type of light, because
you think it's that scary, really? I don't know. I mean, I think it's exciting, but I don't know if I would explain it as scary. Like, I like it.
Okay, Have you watched A Clockwork's Orange?
A Clockwork Orange is scary. Yeah. Yeah, why do you think that that's sci-fi? Is that I mean it is, but it's also like American literature.
I hate to say this honestly, but that movie is kind of darn accurate because it, we like yeah, it's from a 70s lens, but it's so relatable today. Like as of
Is
2024,
it?
go watch the film. Like the elements of the film, the way that society
I don't
behaves and acts.
It's so hard I believe a junior or senior in high school, I took an English class and there was a list of books that I was allowed to do a book report on, and I had always been intrigued by Clockwork Orange because of the look of it. I really liked the character's eyelashes. I really liked the makeup in the movie. And I had always been interested. They look so scary, the men in white. And I was always intrigued
The
by
drink at the
them.
milk bar.
Yeah, the
The
men
milk
in
bar.
how they wore those like white uniforms and they're all like uniform and they had this just like very intimidating look to them. So I was interested in what they were. Um but I read the book and it was disturbing, but it was readable. But the book itself is very, very different from the movie. And it's because there's core things that were changed about the character in the movie as compared to the book, and there's
For obvious
core
reasons.
things and core reasons that they change things. And in the movie he's a horrible person, but you end up feeling somewhat sorry for him in the end. But in the book he's a horrible person and you wish that he got burned to death more aggressively than he did. He didn't burn to death, but you wish that he did, and you hate him when you read it. But then when you watch it through Hollywood's eyes, you end up feeling kind of almost like you like him. But in the book, you hate him. He's wretched. He's horrible. And when I watch, because I read the book, and I was like, it'll be rough, and I was ready. And they actually cut out the most aggressive scene in the entire movie. There's a
Honey, there are very obvious reasons why they did this.
They did not
Like,
follow the book because in the book, which was not written by Stanley Kubrick, it was written by a random ass dude. And he's quite interesting, the man that wrote that book. I've learned a lot of interesting stuff about him. And Clockwork Orange, that writer, he created a language. And he has an entire slang language that is used throughout the entire Clockwork Orange book. And then in the back of the Clockwork Orange book, there is like a dictionary, but what do they call it? It's like if
index,
you an index, but no, I mean it translates all of their slang.
glossary.
Yeah, but it'd be like if you wanted to, speak French in France and you'd carry around a little book. It's a little translator book.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the back and it breaks down all of their slang. And so they talk in that slang throughout the entire book, and you genuinely kind of need to know what the things mean. So you'll flip to the back to understand it, and it's kind of very interesting. Um, I have so much to say about A Clockwork Orange. I guess it left a lasting impression on me in
It's
multiple different ways.
and again, I think the reason is because even though the story is old, it's a story that explains the way society feels and the way that people react in a way that sometimes is really violent. Like we talked in the last episode, where just a little brief recap. you have this dude that supposedly comes from like this upper class family, blah, and he murders a man in cold blood. Okay. And people are viewing him as a hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is that almost like connection of like you feel something when you. I've watched a movie. I've never had any interest of reading the book. I don't know why. I still don't. But there
That's
was like
fucking nuts, man.
the movie left an everlasting impression on me
Oh, you should read
because
that book, man. It's damn good. I'm even thinking about rereading it right now. Like I'm thinking like I need to, because I have a copy of it somewhere, but I'm just gonna go on that Abe Books, ABE Books. You know, I told you about that. And .com, and you can get a book for like $4.99, like shipped to your house, like the exact book you want, and they're just like used books from different libraries and schools and stuff like that. But it's like you
they
can
have
get
some really old stuff.
any book you want. It's really cool. But in A Clockwork Orange, in the book, the opening scene, the gang breaks into a candy store, and they beat the fuck out of the young woman that works there at the candy store. And she's just a regular, lady like me or something, and they just annihilate her for no fucking reason. And they like run a big train on her. They all fuck her, and then they smash her head with the cash register. And that's how the book starts. I mean, it's just fucking vile as fuck. And
So
they didn't put that in the movie at all. It's so
again, like,
wretched. I
yeah,
assume they just thought everyone would get up and walk right out if that was the
yeah.
first 5 minutes of the movie. And when I watched, and I didn't know anything, but when I watched A Clockwork Orange, I turned it off. I was so bothered. And then I thought to myself, all right, like, everybody says it's really good. Like, I should probably, see it through. But I turned it off multiple times, like, and just kind of sat there. Now I watched it alone, so I could kind of like do it on my own pace. But it's very bothersome.
It's a very gruesome. It's a very gruesome story.
I don't know
mean,
if it's okay to put those kinds of things out into the world, to be honest. Like, but
there is a
I don't
there is
know. I do
there's some
appreciate it.
there's something about these films, whether they be made by Hollywood, but if you even take something like a 2001 Space Odyssey, there is almost a prime directive of not only fuck the man, but it's here's the dark side of humanity. Here is the gruesome side of humanity. I mean, they like 2001 Space Odyssey may have hit the nail, like pertaining to the way, like, I don't know how crazy enough, like with artificial intelligence, because they had artificial intelligence in 2001. Like, that thing literally tried to kill the dude, with a sweet, charming voice, and it's a red light. And you're just like, holy shit. Yeah. But I definitely like know where you're going from. I personally, when I watched
Hollywood
Clockwork,
didn't even really like A Clockwork. I mean, Hollywood did not like Stanley Kubrick.
yeah, I mean, the man later on made The fucking Shining. Like, I'm just, yeah, I think it was Stanley Kubrick. It was obviously it was a Stephen King novel, but it was just, the man was cuckoo bananas. All right, that's not. Hey, it's Dave, and I quickly just wanted to jump in and say, if you've been enjoying the podcast, and enjoying this episode, if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that'll be so greatly appreciated. Because here's the thing, someone might read that review and make the choice if they want to listen to the podcast. You get to help grow this podcast with us. How fucking cool is that? Let's jump back to today's episode. I'm trying to get at, like, a lot of these people, you know what? I hate to say this, but maybe that is what the aliens are fascinated about. is the humans that are cuckoo bananas. Like the ones that are really motherfucking sick and ill. Because it seems like they seem to be the ones that make really fucking great films. I mean, like,
I don't know. There was like, I watched this thing a little bit ago, and
I'm so addicted to these chessmans. It's insane.
I know. I had to stop eating. I was like, I can wait like till the podcast is done and I can stuff my face. Like,
I can't. I'm sorry.
I couldn't. I ate quite a few chips at the very beginning just to like fill my empty hole. I can't remember what the fuck I was going to tell all these wonderful people about. When we were talking about aliens, I watched this thing on Netflix or whatever, where they interviewed all these different people who had been abducted by aliens, and there was this woman, and somebody put like a spring inside of her nose. So she got abducted by aliens overnight, and when she came back, her nose hurt like really fucking bad. And she went to the hospital a few days later, and they did like an x-ray, and there's like a metal object that looks kind of like a small spring, like, like you would find like on, I don't know, like some type of like little squeezy, I don't even know how to explain, inside of like the bridge of her nose. And so the doctor like looked up in there, and like the cut that was in the it had been done, it was so smooth, it was like a laser almost. And the doctor said that it made no sense that it had like healed properly, and that it had healed that quickly because it had only been just last night. So they put this object inside of the woman's nose. Now, the point that I was going to make is that she's just a regular woman. Now, one thing that I did notice about a lot of these women is that they don't have a husband. That's kind of scary. Because it's like, ooh, creepy. Like, are they going to get me? And they do seem to go for people who are not coupled. If you haven't noticed, and I don't think anybody's put it together, but a lot of times when the alien comes, it'll come for somebody who's not in a relationship, but not always. I mean, now that I think about it, a couple of them did have, significant others. But I think sleeping alone is like a little bit more drawing to the aliens. I almost said animals, but I feel like
some
they
people
look for
believe
somebody's alone.
that REM sleep, that when your body enters whatever we call like the sleep mode,
Yeah.
we could be entering a realm. Our bodies do produce
I believe
chemicals
that shit.
such as dimethyltryptamine, DMT, is one prime example. So we may perceive as dreams or deep sleep may as well be like us going to that other realm. Like, bro.
Well, it's still our perspective. The dreams are
Awesome.
fucking incredible. So fascinating. I gotta tell you about a weird dream I have after you tell me your thing.
The most wildest deep dream I had was I woke up and then I was like, no, this is real. No, this is a dream. No, this is real. And I was basically in an office building, and there was a hallway, and there was no windows. There was just doors, and they were all locked. And it was like a square. So you'd walk around, and it was just all around. The elevators.
You're like trapped, dude.
Yeah, like the elevators, there was doors, but they were like smooth. Like there was no gap at all. So you could press the button, but there was no doors to open. I swear, like for a millisecond, like there was a point there I actually thought that was real. Like there are things that your mind will do.
Well, yeah, it seems real.
Okay, tell me your weird dream while eating chips. Now I want another chessman. No, tell me a weird. No,
I'll
tell me
you
a
a dream, but I'm not gonna eat the chips.
Oh shit. That I spoil. They look good though. Those are blue corn tortilla chips.
Oh my god, I love blue corn tortilla chips.
And ranch. You're dipping them in. No, queso.
Yeah, queso. Look.
Super dipping chip. Wow. Not only are there tortillas, they're super dipping chips.
Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon?
Dude.
That's Pocahontas. She's my favorite Disney princess.
You are like trying to like sway yourself away from telling your weird dream.
Okay, my weird dream. I'll tell you. It was weird as fuck. Okay, so like it was pretty short, but like not, but pretty short. And so in my dream, it's like reality. And it's like normal time. And I'm looking down at my belly button ring, and something about the top of my belly button ring had like pulled through and was just like in my skin. And I was like, ooh. And so I was like, oh, that's okay. I can push it back up through and it'll be fine, you know, and then I'll clean it. And it's going to hurt like a motherfucking bitch, but like I can do it, you know. And I
Okay,
was
this
like,
isn't the dream though, but like, did you feel like this was real?
yeah, it felt real. Like I could feel my belly button ring had like gone like down. I'm like, I don't know if my tongue.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is. And in my dream, the top part had gone like in, and it was like in there under my skin. And I was like, ooh. And I grabbed it and I pulled it. And when I pulled it, it flipped and my belly button opened up. Okay. and my belly button opened. And I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, ow. And it like hurt so bad. And then it kind of like stuff from the inside of my stomach started to like come out. And I like bent over and I was like, oh, and I like tried to like hold it all in. It was the craziest dream, man. And like, I was
Damn.
like, I like looked down at the phone and I was like, oh my god, I have to go to work. And I was like, no.
What?
I know, obviously.
You were like worried about work while your guts are coming out of your fucking belly button?
Yeah, it was because my job will just like fire me if I'm ever not there for any reason at all.
Damn. Your
And that's
subconscious
probably-
was on your ass.
I'm having a really, really bad stress dream that's probably work related, which is why I had this, you know, thing happen. With all of it coming out, I get really stressed about how I just have to be there like all the goddamn time and I can never leave for any excuse ever. And it's just like kind of scary. Because it's just it's a lot.
You wonder if like the aliens are surveilling us and like watching us do all these things.
My fucking stomach like busted open. Then I was gonna have to go to work because I go to work all the time. And I was like, fuck, you know, and so I got in the car and I drove to the emergency room. But I drove to like the urgent care, which was like right down the street. And I was like, are you guys going to be able to help me or do I need to get back in the car and go down to like the hospital? And like when I finally got to talk to somebody, they were like, oh yeah, we don't know how to help you with like guts bursting out of your belly button. That's a different type of thing. Like we don't do that here.
Wait a minute, you were able to vividly imagine driving to the
all of it.
Oh my god, this
and
is
even
wild.
the doctor like rejecting me and telling me that like they couldn't really do anything and that I would have to like drive back down. I'm like driving myself around and like at one point I was like, just look at it. Just look at it. It can't be that bad. Like how bad can it really be? And I was like, you need to look at it because you need to know how bad it is. And I was like, and I go to like look down and I was like, no. And I was like, don't look at it. I'm like driving in my dream. And I was like, Krissa, just tough it out and see how bad it really is. And I like looked down and there's like these like guts kind of like coming out. And I was like, oh, it's bad. It's bad. Like I was like, it's really bad. And I was like, this is not going to be okay. And I was
no,
like,
it's not, Carissa.
So fucked
Bad.
up.
This should be a movie. This should be like
No,
a
I read about it. Like, I went online and I like read like, if
Dr.
there's
Google,
like,
of course.
well, like there's a lot of different people that have analyzed like different dreams, and something that was quite interesting was I found like there's a Muslim dream translator. Now, do they do dream translation in Judaism? They do?
Particularly Sephardic Jews, but some. So some sects. So, like
So,
for example, Moroccan Jews, we do. But the way that they do it is they ask you a series of questions, and they'll usually like they'll be like rabbinical texts and scholars and things, and they'll like find a passage and like connect it, like a few of them, and like read them out, and then read and like it kind of gives you the answer. And that's how I remember. But yeah, go on. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just curious. And what I read online kind of said that, like, I mean, I know in general that dreams are representations, more or less, of things, and your brain processing emotions that it didn't have time to work through, different shit like that. But I kind of feel like what I read more or less was that they felt like something that's very personal to you, something that's like internal, something that's very valuable. They kind of like explained like your organs coming out of your body as like something really, really important to you, like being like taken away from you and like not being like secure anymore. So like I guess like loss, but like they said it would specifically be like your income, like your like money, like your stability being
Is
like
your guts.
yeah,
It's
is
like
your
your
guts,
blood is your money.
your entrails, they said, are your guts. And it was very interesting. Like it had like all this stuff that broke it down. It
Wait,
was
wait a
like
minute. Did you make it to the hospital in the end?
I woke up before I got to the hospital, and I never did get it like fixed or whatever. I woke up instead.
Damn. It would have been really cool to like for you to finish the dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to get all the
Um,
parts.
I don't know why it didn't happen. Like why I didn't finish the dream. And
Maybe
I
you
just kind
couldn't
of
like.
kept driving.
Could be you couldn't imagine like the hospital.
But I remember like the next day trying to like analyze the dream really heavily. And I'll tell you the one thing that I thought was really strange was that when I went to the doctor to see if they could help me, like the first time I went to the urgent care and I was like, this is too serious for here. I'm probably gonna have to go down to the hospital. And they said they couldn't help me. I tried to track back because they always say try to remember the people that are in your dream. And that'll like tell you a lot. And I tried to track back what that person looks like. And that person is a person from my current classroom. So it's one of my newer students. And I've tracked back, like, what did they say to me? I'm sorry, I can't help you. And I was like, oh, I feel abandoned.
How recent was this dream?
I think last week I had it. I feel
Wow. So this.
abandoned by my last class. Like, I feel like my last class left me and they can't help me anymore. And I realized,
So
like,
all the people in this dream were from your last class.
no, just that one. No, like,
What about the other
the
people?
the person, there's only one person in my dream.
What do you
The
mean? You just went straight to urgent care?
Yeah,
You
there
didn't talk
isn't
to like the
anything
front
else.
desk?
I mean, if there was a front desk person, I don't remember a front desk person. I remember going into the back and there's kind of like a nurse character, and she represents my new class, my new group of students. Um and then I realized that the reason that my new group of students couldn't help me is because they truly are no help to me. Like they're quite difficult, like in the beginning. Not like hard, but like, they're they're of no help in any way to me. Like, and my old students were like, I train them to an extent where like they're helpful. And then the new ones, they come in and it's like, I don't know what to do, and it's stressful. Like you're like, ah, crap. Like I need everybody's help again, and I need to teach them how to help me.
Not help themselves. The whole purpose of the student is to help the teacher and nobody else. Plain and simple. Right? Right.
No, I mean
Oh,
no. I noticed that like
I was being
I
sarcastic
felt
and
some
weird
type of
and Dave. Yeah.
loss. I felt some type of loss, and I noticed that like I feel not that like they burden me or something, but that like it's just 15 people that are of no help to me. No, I
Yeah.
really do feel like I've got all these people around me, and no one can help me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just me.
It can do that shit to you, honestly. I mean, it's like
I mean, you help me and my boyfriend and my parents, but otherwise, all these people around me, nobody can help me.
sometimes the only person you can help is help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You say that again.
Oh, I'm gonna give another shout out. Carissa sells amazing, awesome candles. Please check them out. Find them on velvetearthshop.com. This is probably gonna come out like towards the beginning of next year. So I don't know if you have any discounts, but there's a lot of really cool scents available. And they're all handmade in Iowa. I love saying that. Iowa.
Iowa is where I live.
Yeah. Handmade. Anyway, if you want to check out more of the podcast, we're on the socials. And we're on YouTube. And we are on Rumble. So be sure to check us out at a Lost in the Groove pod. So with that, motherfuckers, we're gonna go to sleep because we have jobs and school tomorrow. Yay! Kill me. All right.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Bye. Adios.
Bye.
Adios,
Muchachos.
muchachos.